What is time limit? Well, I'm glad you asked. Time limit follows a young alien boy, Comet, and Comet was sent to Earth by his tyrant, galaxy-leading father, Lord Gold. But when Comet does not complete his mission in a timely manner, Lord Gold loses it. He threatens to blow up Earth in 30 days if Comet is not returned. He sends a large blast of energy through the cosmos heading to Earth from his ship. So now Comet has to balance being on Earth and defending it from his father's incoming blast. And that's not all. There's Ka spiritual energies pulled from Afrocentric spirituality system. There's the multi-species alien force called World Nation, ruling even further beyond what Lord Gold can touch. And the mystical powers of the orbs of Amazu, from the Amazians, the ancient beings of this world. That's all I can give right now, but follow me at timelimit.official on Instagram. The link to read the chapters for free is in the bio. Yes, sir.
Welcome. It's KLA Cloud the Wanderer, and I'm here with I'm pro- how do you pronounce your name?
It's Kweku Hopkins. Yes,
Kweku Kweku
yes,
Hopkins.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
What kind of name is that?
It's from Ghana. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Uh,
sir.
that's where your people's from.
Nah. So my parents from my mom from Chicago, my dad from Miami, but they just study
Oh,
African
okay.
culture and then came Kweku. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. That's
yeah.
cool.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I asked, because my family is they from Liberia.
Okay.
I was born. Yeah, I was born here, but
Okay.
my folks been here for like 40 years
What do you?
and stuff.
Okay. You
Yeah,
ever go back?
I never went. I never
Uh,
was there. I never been there before, so
uh yeah.
I
I'm
don't.
trying to
I
go.
don't think it. Yeah, the place where my folks is from, it's not really good right now. It
Okay.
haven't been good since the '90s, and
Okay.
so yeah.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yeah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you, and yeah, you can talk about your story time limit, how you came about that.
Okay. So like, I first I always been like an anime fan. Always been like a guy into games and all the new stuff that's coming out in that world, and and then like my background, like I was just saying, was my parents were like really into the African culture, things of that nature. So I was exposed to that world as well. So like I always wanted to create it as a kid, and I used to play with toys and blah blah blah, and make little stories out of the toys and things like that. So it came to a point like during the pandemic, like I always wanted to write a story, but during the pandemic, I actually had time to kind of sit down and try to write something out. And I wrote something, I put it down. 2 or 3 years later, around like 2022 or 2023, I looked at the notes again. I was like, this won't have bad. And I was like, let me actually, try to put this out because, I always talk about how I want to put something out. I was like, all right, let me put this out. So I started getting really, really serious about it and writing it, and then the characters start coming alive, and I was just pulling from different inspirations, but trying to keep the core intact of like my original plot, my original storyline, as well as like the influences from African history, because I wanted it to mean something and have a purpose as well, not just to be like, oh, cool fights and cool funny characters or whatever. I wanted it to have a purpose, and like people who read it and digest it really resonate with it. So that's how it all came together, and I finally was able to get the first volume out, the first of many. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when I seen it, it was interesting. It was, I seen the panels on the Instagram. Forgive me, I didn't read it, but I was like looking at I seen your video and how you was telling the story
Yeah,
about this kid was from another planet and stuff, and he's
yeah,
trying to learn progress
yeah,
while
yeah,
being here. But then
yeah,
his father he wants to blow up the planet.
yeah.
So it's
Crazy.
kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could show
crazy.
some illustrations of it. Yeah. So you did the illustrations, or you
No,
just wrote the
so
story?
I wrote the story. I hired a guy named his name is Levi Tonin. His art probably on Instagram and stuff. But he's really good, and he was good. Communicated with each other really well, and he was able to put together the vision. Like I would lay it out like I want this to happen in panel one, this to happen in panel two, them to say this, and then he would just bring it to life better than I even imagined it. So like shout out to him.
Yeah, this is dope, man. Like, yeah, like I don't even think it's like a anime. Like, usually, I've talked to people that have done like um black anime, but it's like a different style to like the stuff that you see like Dragon Ball Z and all that type of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's dope. Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
appreciate it.
So so like so it took you like how long did it take you to edit this? Like put the
So
story out and
so like for real, it took probably like 2 to 3 years. Cause like it was like the the version that's in the physical book is probably like the fourth draft of it, or maybe the fifth draft, something like that. So I like the first draft I wrote was like super simple, and I was like, okay, I gotta go back and edit this. I would and like around like the second or third draft, I sent it to an actual editor for her to look at it and blah blah and give me feedbacks and things like that. And so that's when I was like, okay, I can see where there's some hope. Like I can see somebody else reading my story and they're pointing out, so like, this doesn't make complete sense right here. Like, I'm like, okay. Now that I now that I see from a viewer's perspective, I can make some edits without like making everything she said like 100%. I have to follow everything she says, but like taking key things of what she said and be like, nah, that's real, that's good criticism, let me adjust it. So after that, like after that first editor came in, like he finished in like September of last year. So and now we're in what, August, and I just got around to the physical copies in July. So from September to July now, I was editing it more to make it like ready, final draft ready for the physical copy. And so, and yeah, and that's really how the process went. It was like just revision after revision, and then like getting real eyes on it, and then just like honing in on the last final edits to make sure it like reads really, really good. So yeah.
did you like always like wrote stories besides this story, or just was like really into anime?
Um, no, I was really into anime, but I wrote like 6 stories, anime stories before this one. Like this is the one that stuck, and this story is actually like this wasn't supposed to be my real story. Like the where so where this story goes later on was supposed to be my original story. Like the second half of this story was the first my original story, but then I was like, I was expecting time limit to be like a quick thing, but then I was like, oh, I can actually connect this to my original story. So then they start kind of fusing together, and so, but yeah, I had like 6 stories before this, and they were all just like, one was a love story, one was like just like I don't know how to expect just an action story, but what I did, I pulled a little bit from all of them in a way, and kind of put them into one final story and tried to make everything blend, and I, I think it worked out pretty good.
Like what time limit like is there like other like characters besides
Yeah,
your main character? What's his
yeah.
name again? I'm
His name
sorry.
his name is Comet,
Conan,
and
okay.
it's a kind of it's a play on like comet like the asteroid thing or the
Right.
thing flying, but also a play on the way it's spelled is Kamit. Some in some spellings that's how you spell Kemet in ancient Egypt. So that's kind of like a play on that as well. So, uh, but there's a lot of it's a real large cast. So at one point I was wondering if it was too many characters, but I think I gave everybody enough space to breathe, and so everybody has their own identity and things like that. So you have Comet, and he has 10, well, nine brothers and sisters. He's a part of a royal. His dad is Lord Gold, and he has these 10 children who are called the Royal Ten. So and they all have their own goals, motivations, and storylines. Most notably is his older brother Neon, who's the strongest among the 10 siblings, and he has his own plot and his storyline really gets dove into in volume 2, but he has his own motives and his own ways of doing things. So you have those 10. You have the people who Comet meets in the village. There's like a dozen of them. Most notably, Chief Moyo, who's the leader of the village that Comet goes to on Earth. Very wise guy who has his own mysterious background. And there's Key, the first woman whose real name is Kanaya, but everybody calls her Key. But she's the first person that Comet meets on Earth, and he kind of develops a little crush on her and everything. But she's like the first person he meets, and those two become very intertwined. And then there's Quasi. He becomes like a mentor to Comet. He's at the mid-age range. He's probably like in his mid-20s, around that age, and he kind of tutors Comet and a lot of the other young warriors in the village. But he's like pivotal in helping Comet to acclimate to Earth and learning how to use his powers on Earth, and helping Comet to understand that Earthlings have powers as well, and he shows them how they operate and how they work and things like that. So yeah, it's a lot of characters, and then there's even more characters on different planets everywhere. So there's a lot of people. I'm trying to go galactic with it.
Yeah, yeah. From what you're saying, it's like you made like a universe of your own.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, for sure.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. How far do you see yourself with the story?
man. I'm so I see it going really, really far because I've already written like so far ahead of what the physical copies are. I'm working on the part 2, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it's like I'm working on
No,
the next part.
just say what you able to
Yeah,
say. Don't worry
yeah.
about it. Yeah,
Okay, so like I'm working on the next part, and a lot of the next part of the series. A lot of the first part takes place on Earth, but a lot of the next part goes into different planets and traveling and different powers, and it's all converging into one kind of goal. Everybody's chasing this one thing that they're trying to achieve, and then you see different factions as they try to all close in on that goal together. And but all of it centers around a planet called Amazu. Um, and in the prologue, the very first like chapter of the whole series, it speaks of Amazu, and it speaks of the downfall of Amazu as it gets taken over by an entity known as World Nation, who is the one of the villains in the series. Um, so World Nation has their own cast of characters too, and then Amazu has its own cast of characters. Earth has its cast of characters, and there's many more planets in there. So, like you said, it is a universe, and I see it go. I have the end in mind, but and I also have the arcs in between in mind. It's just fleshing them all out, and a lot of it is fleshed out, and it just has to be like outlined and what's going to happen in the arcs. But but now some of it just has to get written and drawn.
yeah. Is this like when he's on Earth? Is it like is the setting in Africa also?
So it's I created its own kind of, it's more like a futuristic Earth, um,
Okay.
and so it's it's kind of like, so like it's not called like the DC is called District of Commune. Like I use my own names for certain stuff, but it's actually like symbolism of what's going on in the current environment. So it's kind of like it's it's none of the cities, the names and cities and states of the United States or anything like that, or Africa, but it's it's like pointing, it's symbolism for them as well. Like Soon Soon Village, the village he lands in, and that's an African name, and that's a it's an African name in Ghana, and there's a thing called Acropone, which is African name for a city, and it's just things like that. So it's like it's playing on the creating your own universe kind of thing, but making it reflect reality.
I got you. That's clever. You know, that's really clever.
Thank
It's
you, thank
almost like I don't know if I could say like a Star Trek future a bit,
you.
because
Oh
like 100 years later, things change and stuff like
yeah,
that, but some things remain the same. That's just good. That's just me. That's just
yeah.
me.
I personally haven't watched Star Trek, but I'm a big fan of Star Wars, so like that was influenced me a little bit too. I was like, and they have their own city, like the Republic or whatever. Even
Good.
they do they even have Earth in Star Wars? I don't know. It's
Nah,
like
nah. It's set
yeah,
from a galaxy far, far
yeah,
away.
far, far away. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it could be in the past. We don't know, but
yeah,
it's
so
just yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, that
you know,
that
it,
really.
it
Oh, go ahead. What did you
nah,
say?
it was interesting because one of the Star Trek episodes it's a series called Strange New Worlds, and they go in the past and where like the dinosaurs exist, but
Hmm.
Mars is it's another civilization to it, an advanced civilization,
Okay.
and they like they was at war with this other race where they were like insects with mechanical structure or something like that, and they've been going to war like for like maybe to their existence like hundreds of years or whatever. And
Oh wow.
so yeah, so they wanted to get this weapon um from the Enterprise so they could destroy this race of insects and stuff, because it was they there was more of a like a conqueror, and like a race that conquers everything, and
Okay.
so yeah, it was an interesting episode. Like if you're into Star Trek, it's like the series like Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and
Star
that
Trek.
yeah, it was an interest. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's where Captain Pike, um yeah, he was like the first officer before Captain Kirk. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah, yeah, I gotta look into all that. Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
had no idea of what Star Trek was like. Even about,
yeah,
I knew they
yeah.
were space, but I was like, I don't know none of their journeys or their storyline or nothing. But that's
It's all
cool.
good. It's all good. It's all good. It's just you just you gotta watch it. If you're not into it, you're not into it. Like you said, you're into more of a Star Wars. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So is there a team, or you're the team, and this other artist is the team to
Um,
put this together?
we're kind of like a it it kind of like a adjunct team. It's not really a team. It's like I'm like kind of hiring people to kind of help to make the product come alive. Like my editor doesn't know my artist, and my artist doesn't know like yeah editor. Like, but it's just like me kind and my editor. None of them know my colorist, my guy who does my coloring for me. So I'm just reaching out to different people and try to, and once I get a good rapport with them, I kind of keep going to them. And uh but everybody's kind of like a is a one-off job. Um, but you know, sometimes it feels like a team when everything's working and circular. But hopefully one day I can just get a whole team that just we all sit down together and can just knock it out like that. But yeah, that's how I'm doing it right
And
now.
and you reached out to them through what, Instagram or?
Um, so I looked on Reedsy for my editor and Fiverr for artists and the colorists, and it'd be some good people in there. I usually go for like the people who are like have top rated in reviews and everything, so I know that they're actually legit. But those are the main places I go to look for people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's not easy coming up with like ideas and stuff. And what like what what give you like that motivation to just do what you do? If I can ask you that question.
That's a good question. I guess I I guess I was like trying to find a way to channel my energy, like, cause it's like I used to when I was, I guess, like 19, 20 or whatever, I was in school, I would just be like reading like these Malcolm X books and stuff like that. I got his jersey on right now, but it was like I used to read those types of books and be like, man, I wanna do something like productive that like help our people and things like that. So, and I also always loved anime, blah blah. Blah. And I was like, I used to try to. I was like, maybe I can go up and do speeches like Malcolm and stuff like that. But I'm like, that's just not the path. Like, I'm like, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can go and talk, but it's like that was his path, and I was like trying to find my path, but also trying to help people. So help, and so like it just kind of came to that. I was like, I was still reading like African history books, and that's why a lot of it is in time limit. I was like reading all these history books. And I was like, oh, and looking at certain parts in our history. I was like, that that part of our history should be told, not necessarily like verbatim, but like I mean, it should be told verbatim, but like in the form that I'm making this story, it should be referenced, and like people feel that same energy when they read my story or whatever. So I was like, it kind of became a double tool. It was like I can make my anime, and I can also make an impact, and I can make a difference through through my story, and it probably can be like a connective tissue or helping tissue for whoever needs it. Because like a lot of I was reading like African books as well as self help books. Those were like the two main things I was reading. So like you may find quotes in there that are like positive, motivational type thing. I didn't want it to like just bombard people with like positive quotes or whatever. But I wanted it to feel like kind of like The Alchemist. I don't know if you ever read The Alchemist, but like The Alchemist
I've
was
heard
like,
of it. Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard of it.
it was a cool story. It was just a kid, and he was like trying to find what was he was trying to fulfill his dreams, and he was like, and he was going through all the bumps and roads, and it was like it felt like a very natural kind of progression, and here and there you would get tid tidbits of like positive information that reinforced in the character's mind, and you were kind of learning and getting self-help as well through the journey. So I was like, man, I want a story that gives that kind of good feel, but also I want this thing to be like a anime, and I want to be told from like an African perspective. So I was like all those things. I was like, and it just came to the culmination of this is time limit. This is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting because do you feel connected with Africa? Because there's like Black Americans a lot of times they feel like they don't have no connection with Africa.
yeah, yeah. So I don't have any like personal connection as far as meeting being there and living the life there, but I feel like I do I definitely have a connection, just not tapped into yet because once I visit, that's where it's gonna happen. Because uh, I don't. Some people may down it or whatever, but our roots are there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even though our roots are here too, and we're building a legacy here, I'm like, we are African American, so we that part that's still part of our identity. So I always feel connected in that sense that and that's why I pull information from that sense from that from Africa because our our ancestors are from there, and then we never got the chance to continue their legacy. We never got the chance to continue their teachings and things of that nature. So there was that disconnect, but I think there's still the ability to reconnect, and that's why I do feel connected, even if it's not I'm not living there. I'm not participating every day with the people there, but I know that there is that connection because it's still running through my blood.
Yeah, I understand. That's cool. Yeah, with me, I don't know. It's I was born here, and sometimes I feel like I'm more American than African, if it makes more sense. Because
Uh,
you just get caught up in here, when just Africa, you know, um, it's my background, but I don't know. I feel like I'm African, but I'm American also.
we,
If
I,
it
I,
makes sense.
no, 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 that makes sense. Cause like, I mean, the thing is like, I don't ever want to like not honor like the ancestors who was here because they
Yeah,
had their own struggle and they had so that's like we have our own unique history here because all that we've been through, all we came out of, and things of that nature. So I'm like, I just come from the perspective that I'm like I'm valuing both because both both without either one I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So I
I
just
could
I just
respect
I
that.
just think it's a continuance of the journey. we
Yeah, I could
we
respect
came through
that.
America. Some people came through the Caribbean. It's like, but it's just
Yeah,
continuous. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like how was the readership to Time Limit?
You said the readership.
Yeah, like do you get like a large following since you
Um.
put this out there?
So, what really like it was kind of slow before I went to DreamCon because and also slow because I was kind of in hiatus. I was like 3 or 4. I was trying to get the prints ready, and so when I first initially came out, I was just dropping chapters on Patreon. I was doing it for free, and I was like, I was like, I want to print these and actually get people to read these copies. And so I took like a 3 or 4 month hiatus and came popped back out and was like, all right, I got the physical copies ready. So it's been a little, you know, hiatus, but now since I went to DreamCon and since you know I've started selling them online, I've been seeing the readership grow. I've been seeing fans come in and talk to me and be like, "Man, this idea is dope." Blah blah blah, and and I'm ready. It's only been like I guess 2 or 3 weeks since, but I'm excited to see what people who finished the book think about it and how much they want to dive into the next volume or how much they're waiting for the next volume. But it's been pretty good recently.
And you made like three so far.
You say that one more time?
And you made three volumes so far?
No, no. So far, I've only made the first volume.
Oh, oh, okay.
I've written like up to like 5 or 6 volumes worth of stuff. Now I just gotta edit that stuff and print
Oh,
it. Even the drawings are done for those other copies. I just gotta make sure it's edited right and then print it out and get it ready for the public.
okay. Tell me about DreamCon.
DreamCon was cool. That was my first convention. I brought the first copies of Time Limit there, and it was like it was it was nervous at first because I was like the first day. the first 30 minutes, I was looking around. I was like, "Ain't nobody stopped here yet. What's happening? Nobody's stopping by." I was just nervous, and then the first dude came. Shout out to David. I still remember his name. He was my first sale. I was like, "I remember you. You my first sale." So that was cool experience. Then after that, you know, I people start coming in, and another good thing about it was that I was across from like other people who were selling comics. It was like three or four of us, so I was able to chop it up with them and see what their insights were, and because this wasn't their first rodeo. They had all been doing this for a little minute. So I was like, okay. So just soaking up game, trying to see what how you do this, how you supposed to present. I was like, and I was watching them. At first, I was just sitting down, being shy and whatever, and letting people walk past. But they was all standing up, like, "Hey, come, read my manga, blah blah blah." I was like, "All right, let me stand up and be like, hey, I got this book. Come." So it was like I was learning from them how to sell, and then once that happened, like people start stopping by, and I was able to talk and chat to people, and it was like it was an interesting experience. I got to have conversations with people I would have had conversations with, and some people buying stuff for their kids and stuff like that. So it was definitely a good experience, and like I said, I had good people around me, and it was able to sell out, which I was like really happy about. The dude told me he's like put a sold out sign when you're done, so people know to sign up for your email list. So I got more people for my email list, and it was just like a good energy. Nobody was in a bad mood. Everybody was like had good energy, and it just made me believe in the project that much more. So I'm looking forward to next time.
Yeah. What else I wanted to ask you? What's coming to me? Yeah. Um, like, do you see like a animated film, like an animation series or whatever?
Yeah, that's the main goal. I see it. I've envisioned the opening, how the songs that's gonna be playing in the opening. I've envisioned it all. That's like the ultimate goal. I don't think I'm gonna stop until like it's an animated series, and because I think the idea is good enough. I think the characters and concept is all that's good enough. I just think it's about getting it to the right people and like making it a series, because I think it has serious potential to do that. And yeah, and that's the goal. That's the goal. That's why even on the first volume under time limit, I have the anime. I'm trying to manifest it, because so I I I I believe in it, and yeah, that's the main goal, man.
Did you explain like why you call it time limit? Like, do he like do he go like travel like space and time or something like that? Or
Um, so it has like a double meaning. So for like
okay,
kind of a double meaning, but time limit for the first part of the series, because on Earth, Comet goes to Earth and he doesn't return within a certain time frame, and so his dad uh, gives Earth an ultimatum to return him within 10 days, or he's gonna blow up the planet. So that's he gave Earth the time limit of 10 days to return Comet. So that's the first, and then once it goes to space, there's a different time limit involving other major players in the series. So yeah, so that's the reason it's called time limit.
I got you. Well, I mean, I really appreciate you giving me sharing with me about time limit. I'll check it out. Go online and maybe we can have a second talk.
For sure, for sure. This is good,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
was good.
appreciate you reaching out to me, man.
Yeah, I couldn't do it in my house, but I had to do it somewhere else.
No,
So
that's all good.
if you hear the
I ain't,
noise,
yeah, I barely even noticed. It was
all
cool, man.
right. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you too, man.
All
All
right.
right, all right, take care.